Hey, what's up guys, my name is Cherno and welcome to episode 125 of Game Programming. So, last time we did a few things with layers and whatnot, and I actually put up a video recently about what is going on exactly with everything and this channel and whatnot, and I talked a little bit about game programming, not really, but basically the deal with game programming is that this series has been going on for way too long, and I really am eager to kind of close it and package it away and write it off as a completed series. So in order for us to do that, we have to finish it. So basically what I'm going to be doing over the next few months is finishing it off. Okay, so I'm going to add in pretty much every feature that you guys want. I'm not going to keep adding content. I'm going to keep adding like framework features essentially, if that makes any sense. So what I mean by that is that I'm going to kind of set up a skeleton for pretty much everything, and really the only thing that this game is going to lack is content, okay? It's still going to contain enough content for you to play the game and for you to see what it is, but it's not going to have as much content as, say, a game that I would typically release on Steam or something, right? It's not going to be up to that point. It's going to just kind of have enough for you guys to learn from, and that is the entire point of this series anyway. So I asked you guys on Twitter, and I'm going to actually keep doing this quite regularly, but I asked you guys on Twitter what you actually wanted to see, and the results have been, let me just quickly log in and see what the results are, because for some reason I got logged out. Alright, so the results on Twitter have been, I asked you guys if you wanted to see the inventory or multiplayer, and as you can see, it was actually kind of close. 56 votes here, and most of the people voted for multiplayer, but it was kind of close. It wasn't like, I was actually expecting it to be much further apart. So it was kind of close here, and multiplayer, as you can see, won the race. So I'm going to keep doing polls like these for help from you guys as to what you want to see and whatnot. I think it's a really good idea. So to take part of it, and it's really easy to vote, you just literally click the button and that's it. So just follow me on Twitter. So the Cherno is my Twitter name. The link will be in the description, and I will be doing a lot more of this, and you'll be able to stay up to date that way. But anyway, the point is, we are doing multiplayer. So that's pretty crazy, because I didn't really imagine doing multiplayer so quickly. But we will be doing multiplayer. So what I want to do today is I just want to set up multiplayer, right? I don't want to actually start getting into server code and client code and all that stuff, because the biggest problem with multiplayer is that most games just simply are not set up to handle it properly. We're going to talk a bit about how we're actually going to implement multiplayer and what multiplayer even means for this game. But today we're just going to take a bit of time to prepare this entire code base, and it'll actually probably take a bit of time here. But we're going to prepare this entire code base so that it is ready to actually embrace multiplayer, right? Because we don't want to. The current state of it, there are some considerations that I've taken in this code to basically not make it impossible to implement multiplayer, so we don't need to rewrite code, but there are a few things that we need to add and a few things that we need to basically inspect, and that's what we're going to do today. And I'm also going to talk about multiplayer and how that's going to work. So if we launch our game right now, let's talk about what multiplayer will mean for this game. So ideally what will happen, this is going to be a huge project. I imagine this will take several months, especially with the rate that I'm putting out videos, and that collision does not seem right. Anyway, so the idea with multiplayer and the way that this is probably going to work, and if you guys have anything that you disagree with, or you think that maybe I'm kind of thinking of a bad way to do things, or you think that I should add this functionality instead, or you think the game should behave, or you think that the game should behave differently, anything like that, just leave a comment below, and I will bring this up in the next video. Don't you worry, or maybe the video after that, but probably in the next video. I'm going to put up this video, wait like a few days, and then make another one, so that way I take in all your feedback and whatnot. But basically, the way this is probably going to work right now, and at least the way that I imagine this, is that when you launch this, it's going to ask you to log in, right? And you're going to have to log in some way. Maybe if you've already logged in before, it just remembers the fact that you're logged in and automatically logs you in or something like that. But the idea is everyone has a username and a password. You log in, and then it takes you into a lobby with a lot of people, okay? So for example, it just joins you right into the game. And then, like, for now, we will support like one instance of the game per server, okay? So if you want another instance, you just run another server on a different port or something. But the idea right now is that you will get put into this map with other players, okay? And there will probably be no limit to the amount of players. Obviously, the more players that you actually add, the slower it's going to be, especially for the server, and if the server isn't very good. But I'm not going to be like, okay, 20 players, that's it. I think this should be able to handle about 100. I would be quite surprised if it can't handle 100. It should be able to handle like thousands, like theoretically, but because we won't be sending much data at all or doing really any validation to begin with, at least. So this should be a walk in the park for a competent server here. But essentially, what we'll be doing for now is making it so that the client opens up and you can join. You'll be automatically put into a server. Okay, and there'll only be one server for now. Maybe we'll integrate some kind of server browser in the future if the need for that arises, and if you guys want, I guess. But for now, that's what's going to happen, and that's it. And you'll be able to walk around and see each other, and that's it. So that's what we're going for, bare minimums here, right? We're going for an environment that you can log into, and you'll be taken into a world where there are many other players, and you'll be able to see them walk around, and that's it. Interaction and chat, for example, that stuff will probably come later if it is requested. But for now, that's all we're going to do. Okay, cool. So, that being said, let's kind of begin. So, the biggest thing in this code base that probably needs to be handled is support for basically having more than one player. Because I'm pretty sure that I did remove... Okay, so stuff like this, right? We have the player who is the client player. What's very important is that there needs to be a distinction between a client player and an actual networked player. Okay, so this player, of which there is only one of, is the actual client player. So that's you. That's when you actually join a server, it's actually you. So this player is the correct player. This player is the one that actually takes in user input and then acts in a certain way. Okay, that's just how it works. You can see the key listener is essentially part of the player and whatnot. And this player is a local player, okay? So very important that you don't mess that up, and it's very important that you don't forget about that distinction. We're probably also going to make a player that is going to be a networked player. So that we don't really confuse ourselves too much, I'm actually going to make a folder called net, okay? And all of our net code is going to go into this folder, all right? This is just kind of preparation and making sure that we don't forget about any of that. Now, we're probably, since we do have this event system, we're probably also going to create events such as player connecting, player disconnecting, and all of that stuff in the future, but we're not going to bother too much about that right now. So yes, so very important that we have a player that actually is essentially a mob that isn't this player, because you can see this player actually has a lot of code, and most of it has to do with stuff like if input.down, then move a certain way, and obviously this isn't something that we want for a networked player. Okay, so that's the player stuff. We did have a lot of things in level which I actually put in. For example, we had an array list of players. Right now they were just a bunch of player objects. We might extend these to be just mobs or something like that. I'll see if I can actually make kind of the multiplayer player or the networked player actually extend player. I think that should be possible. Probably not though. It's probably not a good idea to do that just because we've got all of these things like UI stuff, which we might not want to have in player anymore, but I think it might just be easier to make a completely different player, or even make the local player extend the networked player or something like that. So we have this array list here, which you can see we have things like get client player and get player at certain certain indices, and we just have this thing that should be called get players, really. Okay, so we've got a pretty good API built up here, and we can certainly add players and whatnot pretty easily as well by just adding them into this list. And the cool thing is they'll be rendered pretty well, like as in they'll be handled pretty well, and they'll be rendered and updated and everything like that automatically, which is quite great. So for example, if I was to let's see where we add this current stuff. Let me just test something out real quick. we add this new player at a certain player spawn, X and Y. I don't know why this class exists, but whatever. So 19 and 42. Why does this? Oh, right, because it, yeah, all right, fair enough. So 1942, let me just quickly take this and pop it into level. Where do we have our spawn level? I might just do something like add new player. We'll put null here for the key listener, which might result in problems. We'll put Cherno 2, and then we'll maybe make it a little bit offset here. So let's see what this does. Okay, so before it crashed because of the null pointer exception from the input, you can see that we actually do have 2 players and they're both being rendered, and the UI is all not very cool because that's the second player's UI. Anyway, we've got a few problems with the UI, of course, but you can see that we now have 2 players. Okay, so the game supports 2 players is what I'm kind of trying to get at. And we don't need to do too much about that, but we do need to bring in the whole concept of a player that is not local. So in net, I'm going to make a folder called player, and in there I'm actually going to make something, I'll just call it net player. All right. Okay, so this net player is going to extend mob, just like the other player did. Okay, we're going to have an update and we're going to have a render. And then what update and render will do? Render will be very similar to players render, to players thing, I imagine. We're also going to have to make some kind of asset pipeline as well, which retrieves potential sprites, because we might not all want to have the same sprite. I think a worthwhile thing to add to this game as well, in terms of the multiplayer aspect, is for you to be able to basically customize your character and for other players to see those customizations that you have. So we're going to have to design a whole system for that as well, but that's why this player is going to be a bit different as well, because it's going to use different sprites potentially. Let's see what we can do right now though. We can probably do something like, we've got a lot of methods here. Wrote a text character even. Mob. Okay, so it looks like we've got draw rect and that's it as far as, do we not have a way to fill a rectangle? Really? Well, we're about to. Okay, let's just do that now then. So public void fill rect. I guess we'll do the whole fixed thing as well. So we have this here. All right, so we'll just have 2 for loops that do all this stuff for us. They'll fill every pixel of the rectangle. I'm really surprised that we don't have this. Surely we've had a need to draw a rectangle before. Bit weird, but okay. All right, and then we'll just say that if XP, sorry, this should be, oh no, it's fine. We'll just make an offset. So XO is going to be X offset, which is going to be XP plus X. And if XO is less than 0 or XO is greater or equal to this dot width, then we'll continue. We'll do the same thing for Y up here. Excuse me if I'm just rushing through this, by the way. I just really want to, this is not the focus of this episode, so really this should have been already in the game. Pixels XO plus YO times this dot width equals color. Okay, so we now got a filled rectangle method, which should be pretty flawless. So filled rectangle, let's see. So we'll have X and Y in here. Width and height we'll just set to like, I think 32's, I have no idea, but I think 32 is, maybe it's 16. Yeah, it's probably 16. Yeah, maybe. No, it's not, it's 32, that was half the thing. Color, we'll just do something like a nice blue maybe. And then fixed will be true. Fixed is fixed what I think it is. Yes, so fixed will be true. And we now should have this player situation. So what we'll do here is there's a few ways that we could imply that everything has to be a net player. We could definitely say that player extends net player, and we probably wouldn't get many problems with functionality. In fact, I don't imagine we'll do. Just for now, we might actually do that. But it might be wiser to actually make like an interface or something like that, because I don't imagine this would be that useful. But for now, we're going to just take the easy route and say that they're going to be entities. Possibly mobs, actually, because they are both mobs. Alright, so there we go, we'll import that. And we'll go down here. We'll just need to quickly change this stuff. So see, unfortunately, stuff like this will need to... this is also important as well, because it might not be. I think we should make some kind of intermediate player class. But right now, I'm not really going to bother with that. Client player will definitely be cast to just normal player, though. Alright, cool. So, and then this will just be get... Oh, okay, so this is... Okay, we've even got to get players, which returns everything, so that's kind of nice. So we have no way... Right now we have no way of knowing if it's going to be a net player or not, so we'll have to actually go back and call these just mobs. Where was that method at? Why am I in here? Alright. There we go. But there we go. So a few things that we've changed here. So this isn't chase and move. So okay. So this gets all players. Again, we don't actually have to have this be a player. You can see this will all still work with it just being a mob. Okay, cool. So there we go. We've got a few things going on here. Everything should still work as it did before, which is good. And then finally, we'll actually add some kind of net player, and we'll figure out a way to do that. So we need some kind of system which will essentially listen for certain states and act upon them. So we need some kind of like client-side server, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't, but what I mean is we need to have some kind of system in the network which, or on our client actually, that receives commands from the server. So not sure how we'll do that exactly. There are many ways to implement something like that. We'll probably just have that as part of the netcode over here. So it needs access to most of the game and it needs to be able to change the game based on information that it gets from the server. Okay, so we'll be implementing that next time. But for now, in game, I'm just going to do something like, we'll make something in level. Let's see, just on the add. So again, we've got this instance of player situation that I don't want to deal with right now, but we'll have a public void add player mob player players.add player and players or player.init this. Okay, there we go. So this is us adding that into the game now. So if we were to do something like level.addPlayer, which you could do here as well, by the way, new net player, and then hang on, where is that being rendered? At X and Y. So we'll probably just make a public net player, X equals like 22, I think. Sorry, times 16, and Y equals like 42 or something. Yeah, that should be it. That should be in our vision. Yeah, so here is our net player. Okay, cool. So there we go. There's our rectangle. And that's pretty much how that cookie crumbles. So next time we're going to actually do some net stuff. I'm going to get into that. This episode I just wanted to explain what was going on really and show you guys some basics as to how we're going to do this and what we're going to do, just so you guys can get all excited and I can get excited and we can get this done. But next time we're going to probably start off with a server and client type of deal. So we'll be making a new project over here, which is essentially going to be the Rain server. I might call this like Rain Cloud or something. That's actually a nice name. I like that. Rain Cloud, because it's like a cloud computing type server deal. And that's nice. I like that name. Anyway, we'll make like a rain cloud or a storm cloud or something like that. Maybe rain cloud. I like rain cloud. Anyway, we'll be making rain cloud next time. Now I'm excited. And we're going to just set up a basic client server type deal. Okay, so just with sending like text to and from first, and then we'll start sending more useful data, and we will maintain connections and whatnot, and we'll have a lot of fun, because this stuff can be fun. This stuff can be terrible if you don't know how to do it, but luckily we know how to do it, so we'll be fine. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. A few things I wanted to mention just before I go. I actually made a Slack channel. So Slack, if you guys haven't heard of it, Slack is essentially I wanted to have like an IRC chat system back in the day, but it wasn't very good. It wasn't a really good idea because, well, really the whole Cherno chat situation was that it was on IRC. It was very hard to maintain. It was very old school. What you want instead is you want to have something called Slack. So Slack is like, I'll kind of show you guys what Slack looks like. I'm the only one currently in here, but basically Slack is like, you can go to it from a web browser. There's a Windows like desktop application for it. There's a mobile application for it, so you guys can always stay up to date. It's really meant for teams of people working together, but you can use it just for communities as well. It's very popular to use for that as well, such as our community. You can see that there's a few different, I've made a few different channels. General and random are like the default channels, and you can see that random is just about talking about whatever. General is like just really anything that isn't applicable to the other channels, but is kind of you know, I guess relevant to me, to the Cherno, and all the content that I put out and all the community stuff. Game programming is about this series, so if you want to talk about game programming, or if you've got some problems or whatever, this is like a real-time chat system. So if I say something like this, you know, it's an instant messenger type deal, and you can even post pictures here and all that stuff. So it's really cool. And then Sparky, of course, will be about talking about Sparky, and I've even added an integration to like GitHub. So there's actually a bot here that whenever someone opens a new issue, or I commit something to Sparky, it'll actually just post here. So it's a really good thing to just have kind of in your background, and you'll get notifications and whatnot, or you'll even have it on your phone, and then every time something happens, for example, or someone's talking to you, or there's something that's being talked about, you'll get a notification. So it's very, very cool. I really wanted to for a while get onto like a kind of broaden this community and have it be a bit more close together. And I think that something like Slack is a very good tool for that. So if you want to join this, it's very, very simple. You just have to head over to slack.thecherno.com. So this was the cherno.slack.com. That's where you go when you've actually already been added to this. It's very easy to register for this as well. You just go to slack.thecherno.com, link will be in the description, enter your email address, hit join, you'll get an email with an invitation, and then you'll be able to log into this and chat away. So anyway, I think it's a very good idea. We'll see how it goes, but I will try and this app is on my phone. Okay, so if you at any point want to say something to me, you can even direct message me. I'm going to go ahead and say don't do that too often because I don't want to get bombarded with messages. But if you just generally have questions and whatnot, I'll be chilling in here pretty much 24/7 because it'll be on my phone. So it's definitely the best way to get in touch and hopefully meet new people and maybe even work on projects. If you guys have suggestions for more channels as well, I will definitely be creating some new ones. And in fact, I'm pretty sure you can even create your own channels. So I might have to moderate that a little bit, but hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be very smooth. Okay, the other thing I wanted to mention was, of course, I am on Patreon. If you support me on Patreon by giving at least $5 per month, then you will get access to the entire source code repository of game programming. Okay, so simple as that. You want this code commit by commit as well. Like after this episode, I'm just about to commit with all my changes and whatnot. Then just join up there, and you will get access to that on GitHub, which is pretty cool. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time with some more exciting multiplayer stuff. Goodbye.